Ischia is a volcanic island in the Gulf of Naples, Italy. It is known for its mineral-rich thermal waters. Also, Ischia is home to Mount Epomeo. Mount Epomeo is the highest mountain on the volcanic island of Ischia. It reaches a height of 789 meters, almost 2,600 feet, and it towers above the rest of the island. Much of Epomeo is covered in lush greenery, with a few vineyards also occupying its slopes. The island of Ischia is divided up into 6 towns known as comune in Italian. The 6 towns are Ischia Porto and Ischia Ponte, Forio, Casamicciola, Lacco Ameno, Serrar Fontana, and Barano.
In the night between 25th and 26th November 2022, the island of Ischia once again became a victim of bad weather. The heavy rains that hit it caused a landslide which, from Mount Epomeo, reached the sea, hitting the town of Casamicciola Terme. A wave of mud, debris and stones overwhelmed everything it encountered: houses, shops, parked vehicles, and 12 people were killed, including 4 children. Up to 126 millimeters of rain fell over the course of 6 hours. In the last 20 years, this data had never been reached and represents an index of rainfall severity. The landslide detached from Mount Epomeo and descended towards the valley, overwhelming the vegetation and the houses, opening a gap between ancient trees and houses with unsteady foundations. From Piazza Maio, it was channeled along Via Pio Monte della Misericordia and then onto the square of the port, where some cars were dragged into the sea together with 2 tourist buses. Hundreds of help arrived in Ischia from the rest of Campania and from all over Italy: civil protection, volunteers, armed forces, planes, bobcats and so on, and the government has declared the state of emergency and has allocated 2 million euros. It is not the first time that Ischia has been the victim of bad weather and landslides. In the last 16 years, there have been at least 3 tragic events: 2 landslides and an earthquake. Casamicciola is socially and economically destroyed. In fact, at the moment, there are about 1,500 displaced people out of a population of 8,000 inhabitants. The commercial port is also closed to ferries due to the silting off of the seabed. The displaced are all looked after with dignity, but subsidies will be needed to guarantee a rented house elsewhere not be able to return to their homes. People who still have their houses, but in the area that has been declared as dangerous, must leave their houses whenever a weather alert is declared. A letter was also sent to our Prime Minister and the President of the Republic to draw attention to our delicate territory, so that citizens are not left to their own devices, as unfortunately has already happened after last tragedies. So we thank Ellen Verde for the attention she's giving us, and it's important to us at this moment of difficulty to know we have someone who has a thought for us and our island.
Hi everybody, my name is Tony and I live in New Jersey, but my family is from Ischia, specifically Ischia, Porto, and Casamicciola. In fact, my grandmother and her family had one of the first bed and breakfasts in Casamicciola in the early 1800s. I've been blessed in being able to travel to Ischia over the years many times, and I have so many beautiful memories. I hope to someday bring my grandchildren there. Thank you for Ellen for everything you're doing in organizing this fundraiser. The Ischitani are strong people, and I have no doubt that they will come back stronger than ever.
Good evening. My name is Rod Saponaro. I'm a descendant of Ischia. I want to thank you all for attending this fundraiser to help the people of Ischia. It's a beautiful island, It was created out of a volcano just like the Hawaiian Islands. Out of that violence came the beauty of Ischia. It's a green, beautiful island. My connection to Ischia is my great-grandfather, Clemente Madera. He was forced to leave our beautiful island in 1883 due to the earthquakes that also rocked Casamicciola. He also lost 7 of his 8 siblings in that same earthquake. His father went back to try to rebuild their house years later, and we don't even know what happened to him. I've been on a mission to try to find that house, and now with these mudslides, that job has come even harder. I want to thank you again for all your help for Ischia, and I hope you all get to travel there as I have many times, because it is a beautiful, green, lush island. All of Italy is beautiful, but Ischia is a special place in Italy. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Buonasera miei compagni ischiatani. Sono Jacopo Leonardo da Il Vicino di Philadelphia. This morning I was asked by Ellen to make a short video explaining why I love Ischia as much as I do. It's a question I never really pondered, but rather accepted it as part of who I am. Ischia and everything about it lives in my heart, and my heart lives in Ischia. Both of my paternal grandparents were born on the island, but met in Philadelphia. My grandfather, Salvatore Vincenzo Iacono, was born in Serrara in 1886 and came to America in 1902, alone. And my grandmother, Concetta Barbieri, came from Forio in 1903 at the age of 10 to meet her father and to soon be joined by her mother and sibling. If there's any reason why I love the island, I guess it's because of how much I love them. They were great people and raised a wonderful family.
Hello everyone, my name is Bob Harris. I live in Virginia in the U.S. Ischia is the ancestral home of my grandfather Modesto Salmonese. I've visited the island 3 times over the past few years, most recently in September of 2022. During that visit, I had the privilege of meeting family that until then I did not know existed. We laughed, we joked, we talked about family. It was just a wonderful, wonderful visit. They embodied the qualities of the wonderful people on the island who I proudly call my family. Thankfully, none of my family was directly impacted by the recent flooding, but it's a small island and indirectly everyone is impacted. I'm thankful for all of you who have donated for the recovery, and I'm thankful for Ellen who has pulled together this fundraiser to collect even more money to support the people on the island. I hope everyone has a good time at the party, and I look forward to my next visit to Ischia. Ciao.
Hello everyone, it's Ellen. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ellen Verde and I am a descendant of Ischia. My great-grandparents Luigi and Margarita Verde migrated from Ischia to New York. They created a new life in America, but they continued to travel back and forth from the States to Ischia for many, many years. They kept the love for their homeland and the traditions of the island alive in their hearts and in the authenticity of the way they lived their daily lives. As a child, I was very fortunate to have been able to spend a lot of time with my great-grandparents, and I'm very thankful for the sacrifices that they made and for the footsteps that they left behind, I believe, for me to discover. These footsteps that have helped me navigate my way back to my roots, my sense of belonging, and truly to where my story began. So, from the moment that I took my very first steps onto the island, I knew I had found home. I felt in my heart and in my soul that Ischia is more than just a destination of beautiful scenery and sights to see. Rather, it's a living, breathing heartbeat, and its pulse is the amazing energy and the authenticity of her people. So you see, I am not just a descendant of Ischia, but rather I am a child of Ischia. And she is the motherland, and she waits with a warm embrace for her children to return. So this morning, as I was mentally preparing to do this video, I was reminded about a movie that I watched. The title was Burn Your Maps, and it was about an 8-year-old little boy who was fearlessly following his heart, and he was determined to find his sense of belonging. He had this feeling and a dream, and he followed his heart's desire against every challenge and every obstacle, and he ultimately created his reality. He wanted to be Mongolian. He wasn't Mongolian, but in his heart, he felt he was. So I could not have expressed my own feelings about following my dream and finding my way home any better. So I wanted to share this closing scene from the movie with you. And it reads, if that ever happens, and if you ever realize you're not where you belong, don't be afraid. Pack your bags. Pack all your clothes and all the things that you know. Pack all the things that people know about you. Then leave it all behind. You come with nothing. Leave your maps behind too. Rip them up, burn them, and come. Even if it's far away, even if you don't understand, even if it's only a dream, one day you'll be there. So, with that being said, thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support. Your generosity is helping Ischia, and it's also helping others like me who want to preserve and safeguard our ancestral home for our future generations, so they too can find their sense of belonging, so they too can return to their roots, and ultimately so they too can find their way home. Thank you so much.